Hi guys, it's Kimberly Bell. Thanks for tuning in. We're here to talk about your goals for this year. So of course, I have already done my goals, but your call to action is to provide me or your principal broker with a set of your goals for this year. Now you say, but I don't know how to do that. I need some guidance. So goals are more than just setting a transaction number. You have to be able to feed into that transaction number and know how you obtain it. Attached into this video or into this email that you've received is a copy of an agent business plan. An agent business plan is more than just planning your business. It's planning to be a well-rounded individual. I have attached a copy of what my goals look like and how I'm going to get there. Some of the things that I've attached, you may not know that what they are or how those tools are used. In future classes, I'm going to talk about some of the tools that I'm using, a CRM, possibly a drip campaign, techniques that you might want to use to grow your business. If you use some of these techniques, I hope that your business will grow. I'm going to move the camera a little bit closer so that you can see about my goal setting, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. So you can see that here's that chart. I might insert it to where you have it. So it starts with you're not going to be able to read it from back here, but you do have a copy of it, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I have my closed transactions right here in the middle. Now, if you're using an outline form, you can simply use a outline starting with your transactions and how it goes out. So you don't necessarily have to use this particular format. Okay, so I have my transactions in the middle, and then I have each of my big ideas on the outside. I have 8. You could have 4. You don't have to have 8, but I have 8. I have referrals, cold calls, REO, investors, repeat, bankruptcies, internet leads, and floor duty. Floor duty is different from each individual person. Mine is set to a certain amount. Then I have how they go out, okay, and the amount of time that I'm spending. So for example, on cold calls, I'm using expired, FSBOs, CRS mailings, and I'm doing 3 hours a month working this. And then I have it narrowed down more in my specific plan of action that I've provided to you of how I'm going to do that. I am very fond of using time blocking to allow yourself to time block. For example, in the morning, my time block looks like from 9 to 10, I'm returning calls from the night before. If those phone calls have already been handled, then I'm gonna move on to taking care of my REO properties, getting my REO requirements done all the way up until 11. Sorry about that, I didn't turn my volume down. So let me turn that down, sorry. So you're gonna, from 10, from all the way up until 11, maybe noon on some days, I'm REO blocking, making sure that I'm getting those REO clients taken care of. Because over here you see, REO is 50% of my business, and you see that I'm spending 20 hours a week dedicated to taking care of those REO clients. So we want to make sure that I'm talking to my REO clients, getting the work done so that I can get that business that I'm desiring at the level that I'm desiring to have it. Now, REO business isn't for everybody. So of course there's other people that have referrals and repeat business. It's the friends and family, and how much contact are you having with them. Make sure that you're having that contact. So again, the agent business plan that I uploaded looks like this. So once you've decided this is your overall annual goal, these are the things you're doing to get there, how much time you're spending per month or per day, okay, right here, per month, per week, per day. Then you want to maybe set yourself a reminder of what you're supposed to be doing. Including that would be your schedule, maybe not so rigid that you can't step away and come back and recuperate that time. Maybe build it in somewhere else. But in addition to that, you want to be setting monthly goals. So you have monthly goals. We talked about my monthly goals over here as a broker, because remember, I have agent goals and then I have broker goals. So we want to make sure that I'm doing those broker goals too. So over here, I have broker goals, and of course all this is backwards because you're on the camera, but I have broker goals, and that looks like I'm doing 20 cold calls for recruiting a month. I'm doing 2 interviews of agents. I'm doing 4 video promotions and 4 education videos. So this would be one of those education videos, so I'm starting to hit that goal, right? How many cold calls have I done? I've done a couple so far this month. These are hard goals to achieve, but you want to make them to where they're sustainable, that you can actually put a measure on them. I can't put on there that I'm going to get 2 people to come and work with me, right? Because I can't control what somebody else is doing. I can only control what I'm doing and how it affects me, right? So let's make sure that our goals are based on what we can do and not what somebody else can do. So in your agent plan, I used page 8, 9, and 10. Page 10 says that your action plan should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay, so those are some things those are the criterias for making sure that your goals are achievable. Then you come back over and you have your business goal on page 9. Your business goal, when you think about these, you want to think about how many days you're working, how many hours you're working, and what you're doing to obtain what you're trying to do, the goal that you're trying to push out. Ultimately is transaction and volume for you. So we have those. Then in addition to that, while you're doing this all side by side, excuse me, you have this particular thing, which is a time organizer. Hopefully you're using some sort of calendar or time organizer. Block timing is very successful. You don't want to spend 20 minutes doing something. You want to spend an hour to a couple of hours of time blocking to make it successful, to where you're not getting sidetracked, because if you get sidetracked during a 20-minute block of time, you'll never come back and finish the task that you had at hand. So make sure that you're doing that, including some of your goals and your time blocking for your family. For example, I have Delaney. Delaney is 5, and she is required to be picked up from school at 3 o'clock. So if it is my duty to pick her up at 3 o'clock, I need to make sure that I'm putting it in there so that I'm not getting frazzled at the end of the day trying to pick her up at 3 o'clock and then come back in at a later time during the day. So time blocking is super important. So I want you to think about your time blocking, your goal, what's going to feed into your goal, how many hours it's going to take. It does not necessarily need to be a drawing. It can simply be on an index card written out if you choose to do so. I would like for you to read the agent business plan that I have provided to give you some ideas of how to achieve that. Some of it is very in-depth, but you may want to start simple. But you really want to know how many hours you're spending nurturing your business. If you're only spending a couple hours a day nurturing your business and trying to get more business, you're only going to have a couple of transactions. You can't depend on a couple hours of a day. You have to set up a time block that says, if I do this, I will then be successful. Okay, so successful agents are not born, they're trained. Okay, so make sure that you understand that. We want to make sure that you're being successful because you're being trained on how to do this. Now, you say, but there's things out there that I just don't know how to farm. I don't know how to do this. Then send me an email and say, my goal is to learn about farming, or my goal is to learn about doing Facebook videos, or my goal is to learn about how to approach my family members and my friends. I did go over that in the in-class portion of this. Or maybe you want to learn how to track your transactions a little bit better. Maybe you need a better CRM. Those are some things that we can go over, but I need you to tell me that you need it. In addition to this though, I expect everybody to turn in their goals. This is kind of not an option. If you want to be successful in real estate, you need to have goals and you need to have them set, and you need to figure out so that I'm able to follow up as your broker and say, this is what I think you should be doing. Okay, so I think that that's a good start for the year. So you want to make sure that you're also challenging yourself and that you have solutions. So this says that if you're remaining focused on this plan, you're going to read your plan daily. You're going to do daily positive affirmations for yourself. You're going to develop better health and an exercise plan. You have to be well-rounded. You can't just be completely focused on work. You're going to have a challenge to not become complacent. We want to make sure that you're staying focused, and some of those things staying focused can be taking extra education at the board so that you are using new techniques that the board is teaching you. That is one of the challenges that I would have for you all this year. Another challenge would be maybe you lack confidence in what you're doing. I want you to reach out for extra training, maybe get some scripts together to be able to understand that. So maybe you don't know how to do a good presentation for a seller. So one of the classes that I'm giving in the next 6 weeks is a seller's, the guide to successful selling agents. So we're going to put together a whole drive about this is what you're going to have, and then when you go and you meet with them, you already have it put together, a presentation. And then we're going to do that for buyers too, so that you understand how to do that for buyers. Another challenge might be if you have distractions at the office. So there's always distractions at the office, but if you come into the office and you're time blocking, it seems to be that agents that spend more time in the office can be more successful because you're focusing on your time block events to make them be successful. At home, we get distracted by the laundry, we get distracted by the dishes or the phone, or the FedEx guy comes by and then you get a package. So we're distracted. So if we're distracted at the office, maybe we need to put on some headphones or follow our schedule more carefully to be able to be as successful as we want to be. So another challenge might be that our schedule is overwhelming. I have too many things to complete to get where I want to be. And so how do I make that different? So we could sit down and talk about some scheduling options, but you have to have a schedule. You can't just go by the seat of your pants 24/7. So let's talk about that. But one of the things is that being successful, you have to believe in yourself. So where there's the very last page, page 14 of your workbook here, has affirming your position, that you're successful, that you choose wisely, that you're strong, that whatever it is, that you're a winner and that you are winning, that I am energetic and that I have tremendous endurance. Whatever it is that you're good at, that you're affirming yourself that you are good enough. You're good enough for yourself, okay, because God made you. You're good enough for others, okay? And you don't care if they think it. You only care because if you put out your best foot forward and they don't think it, then it's their loss. So they just take it as their loss. So your goal and your call to action is to set your annual goals. It can be in a format like I have presented here. I took a picture of this and I'm sending it to you. It could also be in an index form where it says transactions and volumes and all that sort of thing. It can be an outline form where you go, my transactions, and I break it down into the pieces where you have transactions as your head, and then you have an A, a B, a C, and then you have 1, 2, 3s underneath it, outline form. Or it could be in an Excel spreadsheet that says time, and you're gonna make a commitment to maybe doing some time block hours. So scheduling needs to be important. Education and getting more education needs to be important because the road to success is not easy, and you don't know that you don't know it until it's presented to you. So I hope that every time you go to the board or you come into one of my classes that you're learning something new. So, or that you're being challenged, right? So your challenge today is to do that. I look forward to seeing your goals and be touching base. I have them due on Tuesday by 5 o'clock. If I don't see your goals by Tuesday by 5 o'clock, then of course I'm going to be picking up the phone, calling you and saying, hey, when am I going to see your goals? It needs to be important to you, not because it's important to me, but because through goal setting, we become successful. Successful agents are trained, right? Great agents are trained. Good agents are born. We want you to be great. We want you to be successful. And how do you get there? So you tell me how you think the road you need to do to get there, and then let's hold each other accountable to see, and the more accountability we have when we hold each other accountable, the more successful we're going to be. Not only for each other, but for ourselves. If I'm holding you accountable, then I'm going to be successful, and vice versa. Let's have it be a great year. I look forward to seeing all of your goals, and I hope you guys have a great day.